Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we are talking about Pokemon Legends ZA leaks. We have a mega leak here, and when I say mega, I mean quite literally. The mega evolutions have been leaked for Pokemon Legends ZA. We nearly have an entire list, it appears. And these leaks are coming from some credible places, including Pyoro, someone who many consider to be one of the most reliable leakers there are. So we have some very interesting stuff to get into today. But before going forward, let me take this moment to point out that I am aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers by the time the Switch 2 launches. So if you find yourself enjoying my content, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit that notification bell. So before getting into the Pyoro leaks, I think it's first important to point out this leak coming from the Riddler, because the Riddler is someone who many people debate is a credible leaker or not. They like to share things in a very cryptic fashion, a very hard to understand way, and at times we have not been sure how correct they really have been. So if they're getting something right, I think it's important to acknowledge it. And so here, we see that the Riddler posted something on March 23rd. They put this character I do not understand, IMO, Dune. And then we have this explanation from Jan. This character Ingo, has the Chinese name of these characters. This character here we see there. IMO, in Japanese, it's these characters, which means Taro, which is Lacey's Japanese name. And then Dune is a pile of sand. There's a specific Pokemon that's only encounterable in sand clouds. And then here we have Powpox questioning Mega Excadrill as being Lacey's ace, and Koo's confirming it's an odd gen. And then here Jan says Ingo also famously uses an Excadrill. So it would appear that the Riddler is teasing that Excadrill is going to have a mega evolution in Pokemon Legends ZA. And then here we have these leaks coming from yesterday from Pyoro. For those that don't know, Pyoro is this account right here, not a leaker. That's how they share their name and account now. And so they had initially said thousands of people know the number now, but no one is willing to spill the beans. This is in reference to the amount of Pokemon that are getting Mega Evolutions apparently. But they say, look at the key at the upper left corner of your keyboard. And so when you take a look at what that key is, it is the escape button, which starts with these letters ESC. Now it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to the first few letters for Excadrill, EXC. And so it may be the case that the Pyoro here is hinting that Excadrill is indeed one of the Pokemon that is getting a Mega Evolution in this game, which is what the Riddler said the day beforehand. But then late last night, Pyoro also said this: the final number may exceed 27. We all know that this info does not come from the final build. So basically from what they are saying, what's been seen so far is from a build that's not complete. So there may be more, but up to this point what's understood is that there are at least 27 Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Evolutions. And to be clear, I mean 27 new Mega Evolutions. There's already a whole bunch we've seen in the game. It seems very likely that all prior Mega Evolutions will be in Legends ZA as well. And so Central Leaks has actually been compiling all the different Mega Evolutions that we've been hearing about. So here, Mega Skarmory. Skarmory is finally going to have a Mega Evolution. I wonder how they're going to make this Pokemon any different. I felt it was pretty perfect as is, but it'll be interesting to see what they do to make it even better. Mega Scrafty. I would love to see what they can do next with Scrafty. We got a Mega Clefable, a classic Pokemon, getting a new form, interesting. Mega Scolipede, I think that could be very cool. Mega Frostlass, okay. Mega Frostlass, this line has had some different variations, but it's going to be interesting to see a Mega as well. Mega Pyroar, totally deserved. Mega Dragalge, I'd love to see it. Mega Barbaracle, okay, that's going to be interesting. Mega Drampa, I'm actually really curious on how they could push this one, because it's already like an ancient dragon, What will happen when it Mega Evolves? Will it still look like an old grandpa, or will it change in some way? Mega Phalanx? Huh, I wonder if they're going to build this around its signature move. Mega Hawlucha, a very popular Pokemon. The Kalos starters as well, makes sense. Although, with Froakie, it evolves into Greninja, and there's already an Ash Greninja, which isn't exactly a Mega Evolution, so I guess this wouldn't really be cheating, but it's kind of curious that it would get its Ash Greninja form and also Mega Evolution as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how they differentiate the two. And then, yes, finally, Dragonite also appears to be getting a Mega Evolution, which is quite exciting to me. And here, they also mention Mega Starmie and Mega Chandelure. That's going to be cool. We've already discussed Mega Excadrill. Victory Bell is also going to be getting a Mega Evolution. This was apparently first teased by the Riddler. And in case you are skeptical of all these different things being shared by Central Leaks, here we have this list that includes all these different Pokemon, including the starters for Legends ZA, right? And here, not a leaker, Pyoro says, Xerneas and Yveltal aren't on the list I have. So essentially, they are indirectly confirming that this list is accurate, save for Xerneas and Yveltal, meaning all these other Pokemon, many of which were just discussed by Central Leaks, are getting Mega Evolutions. And we've already heard about Zeraora, Zygarde, so yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I actually felt the Ning Quasartico Inc. put together a very good chart here that shows us our new Mega Evolutions here. It's all very clearly organized, and there's supposed to be just a few more. Notice how we talked about there being 27, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By 4, that would be 28, but 1 is blacked out because it would only be 27, and so we're still needing to learn about 2 more. Now, Pyoro just indicated that it's not Yveltal and Xerneas. Of course, maybe the list they have is not complete yet. It does kind of feel odd that these 2 really big, important legendaries from X and Y, Generation 6, Kalos, what Legends EA is following up on, would not be getting Mega Evolutions, and Zygarde will. So that's a very curious thing. I would like to think that all 3 will do so, and also I think it's important to note that, as was brought up earlier, the current list is apparently 27 new Mega Evolutions, but there could be a later build that has more. And maybe there could be DLC that comes out after the game, so post-release there could be some new Mega Evolutions that are added, which is very normal for Pokemon to do, that they add new forms, new Pokemon and such after the initial release, and perhaps that ties into Xerneas and Yveltal. If Pokemon Legends EA is going to be the mainline Pokemon game we enjoy for the next year or so, then they may have a more normal DLC plan as opposed to what they did with Arceus, where it was just free updates. There may be like an expansion pass, so there may be more to explore, more to do with new Mega Evolutions in a DLC expansion that will come out after the initial release, which might include Xerneas and Yveltal. Something else I'd like to point out here is that there were debates about whether Meganium, Embar, and Feraligatr would be getting Mega Evolutions, because many people were arguing that because Legends Arceus gave regional variations for the starters, that they would also do the same for Legends ZA. And I've argued to the contrary, that it makes more sense that they would be doing Mega Evolutions because that's the big hook this time around. And according to these leaks, that's exactly what's happening. Meganium, Embar, Feraligatr are going to be getting Mega Evolutions instead. And I think this is a very interesting difference here, because with regional variations, yeah, they can have a different typing, maybe a different signature move and ability, and that's certainly interesting. I do really like what they did with Typhlosion and Legends Arceus. But with Mega Evolutions, it's different. It's not just a variation, it's an evolution. It's a Mega Evolution. In other words, literally a more powerful Pokemon with a higher base stat total. So you could argue the potential is greater here for some more powerful versions. And of course, sometimes just changing the type and giving a signature move or ability can really help a Pokemon have more use, but if you're also doing that and increasing their overall base stats, because it's a Mega Evolution, I think the chance is even greater. So Pokemon like Meganium and Emboar that don't see that much use competitively, they could see a substantial increase here thanks to Mega Evolution. And for Ralligator, personally, I already think it's kind of a beast, but perhaps Mega Evolution could do a bit more. Either way, I like the lineup of new Mega Evolutions. Doesn't look like Flygon is getting a Mega Evolution yet, but as I discussed earlier, there's still some room for more, and also there could be even more added later on with DLC and such. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.